Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm going to talk about Moon in the 8th house in Synastry. So, what it feels like to have your Moon in someone else's 8th house in Synastry relationship astrology, or for them to have their Moon in your 8th house. This video was requested a few times, so I'm going through my requests and doing them. Thanks for your requests, you guys. I am doing your requests, so please request more videos you'd like me to talk about. So this one is not a lighthearted relationship in any way. So if this is or if the people are trying to make this a casual, lighthearted relationship, that will be very difficult. And we could have other things going on like Uranus stuff or 11th house stuff also that could, allow this to be more lighthearted. But as far as just singling out this one planet into this one house in Synastry, this is a very deep connection. This is a connection that brings out in both people the darker aspects of their personality, where it can bring up in especially the moon person who is like their moon is being housed in this very intense transformative place of the 8th house person. The moon person can feel like their more scorpionic nature comes out in this relationship. They can actually really be given an opportunity to really look at their moon sign in a deeper way and really heal themselves and, go through feelings of like jealousy or betrayal or woundedness around sex and intimacy. Like it can really bring out like a Scorpio moon energy out of even like a Leo moon or whatever sign their moon is in. When your moon is falling into someone else's 8th house, it brings out this more scorpionic nature of your moon. And the 8th house person is activated in, the area of their 8th house. So they can feel very sexually attracted to the moon person. They can feel very like intimately connected to the moon person as well, kind of like right off the bat, with maybe not a lot of like warming up emotionally as with other placements. Like this connection is just very deep, and on both persons' part, it's like there is this knowing that this person could really take you deeper, for lack of a better word there. But it's definitely more favorable for people who like psychological transformation energy, because it can do that. It can kind of bring up like where you're both kind of being each other's psychologist or therapist, like in this very deep, emotionally intense way. Now, for like a friendship, it can still be really good in a friendship. It would just be that the friendship is kind of more centered around these deeper emotional things, and you transform together your emotions, and maybe you're also deeply learning about intimacy and relationships and sex, and the power that other people have over you. So like I'm envisioning, like if it was a friendship, you guys you talk a lot about deeper things in life. And the thing with the 8th house too is that there can be a death and rebirth. So like you go into this relationship one way and then you come out of it a totally different way, or something is transformed. Now that can be positive or negative depending on the people, depending on the rest of the synastry. This alone doesn't show a compatibility or incompatibility. It just shows that there is like a deeper, darker energy at play here, where both people will be forced to look deeper into their own psyche and deal with some of these more powerful drives that drive people. Like, it's really interesting what this one does. Like, it can activate this like primal emotional need to like possess each other, and that can kind of switch. That's not necessarily just for one person. That's the thing about house overlays, at least that I've found, is that, you know, the planet person does feel it because they're like being housed in that realm. So like they get the opportunity to like bring out this more 8th house energy of their moon, but then the house person is being, you know, triggered in their 8th house. So it's kind of both ways, at least as I've experienced it. So with this one, it's definitely like this unavoidable transformation that takes place. Like, this is someone that you meet that, depending on the rest of the synastry, this is someone that's going to change your life in a profoundly deep way. And you know, trying to make it casual can be difficult because it's also very emotional. So when we have moon going into any of the water houses in synastry, there's this feeling of almost like a soul merge with the person. Like, and you know, in one way it is kind of natural because the moon is naturally emotional, but the moon, you know, technically by house placement, the moon in the 8th house would kind of be like in its fall because, you know, the 8th house traditionally rules Scorpio, and Scorpio moon is in its fall. So like this one out of the 3 would be the more difficult because, you know, we're having to have this level of intensity that the moon is maybe not as comfortable with, right? So that's where the moon person can feel like the transformations and the psychological insight that they're gaining from this is maybe unwelcomed at times. Like, it's not, while we do feel very emotionally bonded and close and like symbiotic with this energy and very attached, it's not like a warmth that we could see with the moon in other houses in synastry. It's not like a open arms, warmth and generosity, like, you know, moon in the 5th or 9th synastry, or even the 4th or 12th in some cases. This one is easier to be more on the negative side because of the suspicion that it can arouse. Like, where sometimes with moon in the 8th house synastry, it's like you're seeing motivations in the other person that maybe aren't there. Like, and this is kind of one of the more negative qualities, or one of the more difficult qualities of like Scorpio or Plutonic people, is like, okay, yes, you have an amazing intuition, and usually like 99% of the time you're going to be right, but sometimes you're going to imagine things that aren't there and be more on the paranoid side, right? So with this overlay, that can sometimes happen where specifically the moon person, but both people can do this, where they just might imagine that the other person is like betraying them or out to get them, or is actually you know, not good, or like this can bring up our more suspicious instincts. And also the reason why too is because it is so deep and it is so vulnerable, and we are so emotionally activated that if we're not comfortable with that level of intimacy or sexual connection, right? Because, you know, deep 8th house sex can freak people like right the fuck out if you're not used to that energy, right? If you're not naturally Plutonic and then you have like 8th house overlays, that can be very scary. So like depending on the person. So this overlay could create that kind of suspicion or paranoia and uncomfortability for people who aren't used to that level of intimacy. Like that vulnerability, like for the moon, can feel very scary. But for the right person, this could be a welcomed home. You know, this could be a very deep relationship. a very healing relationship, a very close, emotionally bonded relationship where you can tell each other your secrets, and you almost don't even have to tell them because it's like they intuitively know with this placement, because the moon person will realize over time that the eighth house person is really actually quite similar to them, in some ways, like, and same with the eighth house person will realize the moon person is like, in those ways that they're so deep and intense and compulsive, the moon person emotionally reacts in that way. So because it is an emotional house, we have this water house and we have the moon, which represents our emotion. You actually are similar. And so if we can get past the fear and suspicion and paranoia and like fear of intimacy, we can have a really deep relationship with this overlay. But it does tend to be more on the intense side, as with all eighth house synastry. It's not like for everyone. It's like it sounds all intense and sexual and powerful, and people like to talk about it, but truly like to live in it. It's for a certain type of person. And because of that, like, this will never be the fun, casual, lighthearted relationship that some signs would prefer, unless we have other things in the synastry that would show that. But as far as this is not that. This is pretty deep, and it's one that you'll remember for sure, one a relationship that will change you for sure, and heal you if you allow it to flow. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, you guys. I'm taking requests, so let me know what you would like to talk, or like me to talk about in my videos. And I do offer one-on-one sessions as well. My links are below and you can book them there. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching.